it's time for us to move on to our section of hearing from local MPs. We're incredibly fortunate at ARCC to have such a great level of support from our local MPs. And I'm pleased to say that we have Sarah Jones, MP for Croydon Central, here with us today. And I would like to invite Sarah to say a few words.
Thank you so much, and thank you for inviting me. And gosh, Ash, what a story! I am very fortunate in that none of my family members have had COVID. But obviously, as an MP, you would expect a lot of people who have contacted me who have had family members with COVID and who have had family members and loved ones who've passed away, and the agony of not being able to visit your loved ones, to not even be able to go to funerals, to not see them, has just been unimaginable. And just really pleased that you've recovered, and Usha as well, and that you're coming back to normal again. That's fantastic. I won't keep you. I'm so honoured to be here. You do such wonderful work. I mean, the joy of the last few months has been the way that communities have come together to support each other, and that has reinforced for me, what love there is in Croydon and what support there is for people who are vulnerable. But of course, the other thing we learned is just how very vulnerable so many of our community are, and the work that you do is absolutely crucial part of holding communities together and giving isolated individuals, giving people the support that they need. I mean, coronavirus has been a ride of all kinds of different things have happened, but in those first few weeks where we just had to get food to people, and everybody, it seemed, was trying to support those vulnerable people who needed food, and we had the crisis in our care homes of people getting coronavirus and getting sick, and obviously the build-up of people in our hospitals. It then became an economic issue as people lost their jobs, and the focus was on how we could keep people in their jobs. And of course the government has introduced a lot of measures to try and support people so that they don't lose their jobs. We then had this strange period, whereas as an MP I hadn't had for months, it seemed, people writing with their views to me, because all the people getting in touch had real problems that needed fixing. Then with Black Lives Matter, we had this explosion of anger and concern and frustration, and just people getting in touch with me because they just wanted change. And that was an extraordinary thing to happen in the middle of coronavirus, and I know we all felt very strongly about that. And we've since moved into a phase where really we do face a crisis of unemployment going forward, and we need to do all we can. And throughout that whole period, we've seen people from Black and minority ethnic groups really disproportionately affected. And I've been asking questions in Parliament about this. I've been talking to local health experts, obviously, and the Director of Public Health, Rachel Flowers, who's been great through this period. Why has this happened? What can we do about it? And I think we need to not forget that we need to learn those lessons. And I think as we enter a period of economic crisis, it'll be really easy to forget that actually there are disproportionate inequalities that affect certain communities that we need to understand, and we need to try and fix. And I'll be pushing the government to do that. So just thank you for all the work that you do. I know it's a vast array of things, but I think one of the other underlying issues that's gone throughout this crisis has been loneliness and isolation, mental health issues, and obviously you have a key role to play there as well. I just want to leave you with one thought, if I can, and I do have to leave in a minute because there's a vote in Parliament at 1:30. I've just been told, and I need to zoom up to London because I'm in Croydon at the moment. But I'm the Shadow Policing Minister now, which is a great honour, and I've been talking to police colleagues a lot about Black Lives Matter and what we do as a consequence. And one of the things that we're very keen to do is to increase diversity in the police force. And apparently the most effective way to do that is to run local campaigns that local community organisations help with, because that is the most effective way to reach communities and convince them to go into the police force. So I wonder if I could just leave you with a thought, which is, would that be something you would be interested in kind of having conversations about? If indeed you're not already, you may well be, because you've got lots of fingers in lots of pies, but if you're not, would that be something that we could perhaps have a conversation about, because that I think would be very valuable. But I'll leave it there, and thank you so much for everything you do, and all best to Ash on his recovery. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah, and as always, it's very supportive of the community. And I know it's not words, it's actions that you take show us just how incredibly the good work that you're doing, and certainly around the policing issue. Let's connect and have a chat. I know that we had Suleiman Raza in the room, who was working with the army to try and recruit into the army, because there are fewer, obviously, BME and particularly Asian people going into the army, and I think the picture's similar to the police force. So let's have a chat, and thank you so much once again.